The Austrians from Innsbruck have already made their mark here on Merseyside, because there was a very nice gesture last night which these supporters will appreciate if they don't already know. On the way to training here at Anfield, the Austrians stopped their coach and paid their respects to those who perished at Hillsborough, and indeed laid some flowers by the memorial with the eternal flame, which stands just outside the Shankly gates. So as the two teams come out of the dressing rooms, it's a visit to Merseyside that the Tyrol players have been looking forward to since the draw was made. They regard this as one of the top stadiums in Europe, and they're being greeted, along with Liverpool, by an enthusiastic, if rather shivery crowd, because, as you've said, the conditions really are very cold indeed. But the teams don't vary very much from the first leg 2 weeks ago. Indeed, Liverpool have made just one change. It's number 3, David Burrows, who comes in. He missed the first leg with suspension, and he replaces the injured Steve McMahon, and will play, in fact, in McMahon's position in the centre of midfield alongside Molby. So that's the Liverpool lineup. Plenty of injured players, of course, still missing. I won't go through them all again. You know who most of them are. Not so familiar, perhaps, Tyrol Innsbruck, who've made no changes at all from the first match. They lost their sweeper Bauer with an injury in the warm-up in the Tivoli Stadium, and he hasn't recovered even now. So it's the same team, and the two men on the break, hoping to reopen this tie and give Tyrol renewed hope, are number 6, Peter Packelt, and number 9, Christoph Westerthaler. Now, the latest news from Liverpool with regard to transfers is that Liverpool have been pursuing today their inquiries about Arsenal's Michael Thomas, although just before kick-off Graham Souness told me it's gone no further, and I understand the interest in Steve McMahon, who's not playing tonight, is still maintained by Manchester City, but that's the only inquiry I gather that Liverpool have had. Now, also here tonight, one of the great figures of world football. He may look most of his 66 years now, but Ernst Happel, winner of the European Cup with Feyenoord when he was in Holland, manager of the Bruges team that lost to Liverpool in the European Cup final and in the UEFA Cup final, and also the coach to the Holland national side, the Dutch team that came so close to winning the World Cup in Argentina. Ernst Happel, an Austrian international himself, one of the shrewdest tacticians in the post-war game. Well, there's the mascot enjoying his moment of glory. And I think on my left, probably as cold as those people tonight, Trevor Brooking will have a few thoughts on the conditions and the match in prospect.
Yeah, it's pity the under-soil conditions couldn't extend up here onto commentary position, because it is very, very cold. As you can see, the supporters all wrapping up with the ear muffs, the youngsters, and interested to see 3 or 4 of the Tyrol players wearing gloves. They're going to start off, I would have thought, coming from Innsbruck, they were used to it, but they've got about four of the outfield players, as you can see, wearing those gloves. I'm sure if John Barnes had been playing tonight, he might have even been tempted to wear the tights that we've seen once or twice when he has played for Liverpool. But I think once the game gets underway with the undersoil heating, hopefully the surface will play well. And I think, as Alan Hansen said, you've got to make sure that, I think, from Liverpool's point of view, they turn in a good performance to give particularly the strikers the confidence of hitting the back of the net. And the Tyrol side were disappointing in that first match defensively. I think their hearts weren't in it, particularly on that night. Their heads went down very quickly once they conceded a goal. And I think that's something that they've got to overcome this evening. But I'm sure it'll be an entertaining game.
Matthew Clark, age 10, is the Liverpool mascot tonight. And he's had a generous kick of the ball. And the referee tonight is Ljube Spasov of Bulgaria, who told me before the start, and we were trying to converse in German, so I hope I've got this right, that he's the first Bulgarian to referee in England for 29 years. And I can assure you I haven't got the facts to back up that statement, so you'll have to take his word for it. However, he's being assessed tonight by one of the famous referees of the past, Rudi Glockner of East Germany, who is the official UEFA observer, and there seems to be a feeling that Mr. Spasov, if he referees this match well, could be in line for a European final at the end of the season. So Graham Souness about to take his seat, or his standing position. Tom Saunders on the extreme right with the cap, feeling the cold a bit. Ronnie Moran in between them. But the COP are bringing some enthusiasm to the proceedings, despite the chill. Just bear in mind here, Liverpool 2-0 up from the first leg, so the only way that Tyrol can realistically get back into this is to win 2-0 in 90 minutes and force extra time. One has to say that that's a possibility, but Saunders will be doing his best to add to his 2 goals in Innsbruck and make sure it doesn't happen. So as they kick off, you'll pick up the Liverpool formation with Burrows in midfield, Ablett wearing number 8 at left back, Nicol at number 4 right back. And the first free kick goes to Tyrol against Mark Wright. The Argentine number 10, Gorosito, has a bit of a reputation at free kicks. We didn't see much of it in... he's just out your picture at the moment. They may be bringing him into it. Linzmeier's on the behind the ball as well. And that was Packard, who perhaps should lead the next one to Gorosito, because that wasn't a particularly good effort from a man who's played not far from here before. He was a goal scorer at Old Trafford for Rapid Vienna against Celtic, Peter Packard. Here's Jan Molby. Little touch to Steve Nicol. We've got Mike Marsh playing outside him. There goes Nicol again. Saunders in the middle, so is McManaman. Harkness on this side. And the first 2 attacks come to nothing.
A shame on the cross, because the hard work was done. A good triangle from Marsh, Nicol and Molby. Could have played 2 or 3 options in the centre alongside Jan Molby instead of Steve McMahon. David Burrows, very strong tackler. He's got the job. Mike Marsh playing wide on the right. He could have played centre, and of course you always could have pushed Steve Nicol in as well. But be interested to see how Burrows does as well in that midfield role.
Yes, the Austrians favouring the 5-man at the back formation. I say 5, they would say it's 3, pushing the full-backs in with 3 central defenders. Seems to be a fairly common way to play these days. Number 4 there is one of the marking defenders, Mario Posch. Here's Streiter. And the goalkeeper, Arashu. There's Gary Ablett. And the cheer goes up as Saunders makes a run on goal. Scored 6 times in 2 UEFA Cup ties, so a 7th goal tonight would enable him to equal Roger Hunt's record for European goals in 1 season by a Liverpool player. And Hunt did that in Liverpool's very first European season, 1964-65. That Roger Hunt featured in tonight's match programme, still a tremendous favourite on Merseyside. Number 3 there, Vazinga. Nagel, Gorosito, Harkness, Molby, Burrows. Saunders through the middle. Offside. Tannering quickly there. Streiter. Maybe hard to see in the gloom, but above the stand on the far side there are renovations going on at Anfield. Those people sitting in the what will be the lower tier of a massive new stand, you can see it going up perhaps through the floodlights. Should be ready for the beginning of next season as Liverpool come to terms with the demands of the Taylor report and increase the amount of seats in the ground. Here's 4 non-English players allowed in the lineup tonight. And that was Ablett with a probing ball looking for Saunders, and it comes off Harkness in the end. I think one of the problems for Liverpool with all these unavailable players, Trevor, is the wide positions, because without Walters and Barnes, they haven't got what you'd call natural wingers, have they?
Well, Steve Harkness, who plays wide on the left, can play full-back as well, and I think away from home he did a very good job, but at home, when you need somebody actually to go past defenders, he and Mike Marshall again is more of what I would call a sit-in midfield player rather than anyone who's going to take a defender on. It does mean the attacking options get a little bit more limited.
Of course, Ray Houghton's absent as well, with further stress on his back injury, so one way or another, this is just about the only team that Graham Souness could have picked. Here's Gary Ablett. And that's Steve McManaman beaten by Vazinja. Here's the Argentine, Gorosito. Vazinja, challenged by Harkness. And that will put McManaman away, but he's offside. Impossible task, I suppose, facing Innsbruck here. Not many teams have won a European match against Liverpool at Anfield down the years. I can only think of Leeds United, Red Star Belgrade and Ferencváros, who've actually won here in European competition. Here's Steve Nicol. Molby. It's a raking ball to Harkness. Saunders. Back to him from Burrows. Goal kick's been given as Harkness comes back.
The other problem when you get the side that chops and changes around was just highlighted there. Dean Saunders actually played the ball to Burrows to play a 1-2, and Steve Harkness then actually made a run. They then brought the defenders, and in fact they got in each other's way. That was a problem. And Westerthaler on the far side is now flagged by the linesman. I know after the first leg a couple of weeks ago in Innsbruck that night, Graham Souness was hopeful that John Barnes would have been back for this return, but he had a setback in training, which has slowed down his recovery. Ablett seeing plenty of the ball early on, and that was a flag up again against Saunders for offside. Good header by Mark Wright. Didn't reach that one, and that's been played through to Westerthaler, but he was offside when Horton-Nagel played it through. Westerthaler's record in the UEFA Cup is good. He's scored 5 goals in Tyrol's 5 European ties so far, so they've got to keep an eye on him. It's quite a nippy little striker. If he gets the ball played over the top, he might trouble them. Russ there is the right back. Harkness came off Russ for the corner, and that should bring Wright and Tanner forward for Liverpool on the far side of the penalty area.
They can play the outswinger if he wants Harkness, but he's settled for the shorter ball to Burrows. Harkness again. And that back heel by Gorosito. Touch of the Argentines, and Westerthaler to hurt Nagel. Grobbelaar's backpedaling fast, and Westerthaler waiting just inside for the return there. It never came. It's a goal kick, and I would imagine that the Austrians will be disappointed about that, because Alfred Hurt-Nagel could have really got that ball into danger.
Should have got it in earlier, and the Liverpool defenders having a go at Steve Harkness because they took a short corner, 2 against 1, and then he ran in, carried it too far, lost possession, and they got caught on the counter-attack, and he could have whipped in the cross much earlier.
Temperature's just above freezing. Down on the pitch it's 3 degrees at the moment. Almost a cue for music, that really, isn't it? But what entertainment there is at the moment. Vocally is coming from the Kop, and they're obviously going to enjoy their night despite the weather. This is Vazinga. There's Packort in there, and it was Wright who came across. You've seen all Liverpool's opponents, all 3 teams in Europe this season. I don't think you felt that Innsbruck are as good as Auxerre, did you, Trevor?
I didn't think they were as good as Auxerre, and I'm tempted to think that the Finnish side from Lahti were better than. When I say better, I felt more competitive. This particular Tyrol side, they've got a few tricks, they flick the ball around, but there doesn't seem to be the determination, and when the going got a bit tough at home, they did duck it. And I would have thought if Liverpool could just get their noses in front this evening, they are the sort of side that could then fold again.
Pretty hefty challenge by Steve Harkness. He's renowned for being a stiff tackler, and Hurt-Nagel certainly felt that. And Gorosito going for the extravagant crossfield ball, but it was nowhere near Hartmann. Came to Nicol instead. This is Molby. Molby again. And Nicol making the run. It's a good ball inside the fullback. Streiter clears it as far as Mike Marsh. David Burrows. And Grobbelaar started an excursion there, but he retreated when he saw that Wright and Tanner were perfectly capable of dealing with what was developing. This is Westerthaler. Touch of the handballs there.
Even in this opening spell, there's still an indication of certain players in the Liverpool side not having the confidence to just bring the ball down and get a bit of composure and knock it around as they did when they played so well. Only Molby at the moment has looked composed on the ball.
It's really where they miss Whelan among others, isn't it? That little interchange in the middle of the field that used to work so well for them when the ball was moved around at pace. Don't see that so much now because of the absence of the former captain. Long time out with a knee injury, Ronnie Whelan. Dean Saunders, Burrows, Harkness, Ablett, and again. Oh, that's onside, and it's Saunders with a great chance here. Marsh is coming in, and Hart, the defender, got a foot to it. Unselfish play by Saunders. He tried to square that for Marsh, but the defender just got back Saunders again now waiting, out by Vasinger. Burrows. So here come Liverpool again. Ablett to Molby. Little flick didn't work for Jan Molby. This is Packle. Oh, he got back well though, the Dane. Here he is once more. 15 minutes gone. If you've just tuned in, it's Liverpool 0, Tyrol 0 in the second leg. Liverpool leading 2-0 on aggregate from the first. And we almost had the first opening there, made by Saunders for Marsh. Here's Saunders again. It's a free kick, taken quickly. Nicol. Marsh looking for McManaman. It's going to be a question of whether or not that Austrian line holds, or whether Liverpool get through and defeat the offside, which is what happened just now with Saunders. McManaman. Linsmeyer to Packelt. Gorosito looking for Vesterthaler. That is an offside flag. What about that moment there with Saunders?
Well, it was interesting, having broken the offside after, what, 3 or 4 decisions against him. It was in a similar position to when he scored his first goal. I thought he'd take a chance and have a shot, and he was at a similar angle, but he did the unselfish thing, and in the end the chance went askew. But I thought he'd have the shot, as he did in that opening chance in the away leg.
Yes, his build-up play has been good in this opening period, Dean Saunders. It's figured in all Liverpool's attacks. Hartness. Now they can get McManaman down the left. Saunders in the centre. Hartness joining him. So is Marsh. Free kick. Foul by Russ on McManaman. Now Mark Wright is standing to the right of the others in the penalty area. And Molby takes it. This is Nicol. That's some shot. You may have spotted in your morning papers that Hamburg went out of the UEFA Cup last night, beaten by a Czech team. So one of the better-known names has gone. Liverpool lining up hopefully for the quarter-finals in March, and Steve Nicol here lining up a blockbuster from about 25 yards, but it was nowhere near the goal, and it looked a lot better from the normal angle, Steve. However, let's hope we see plenty more shots. Still in this competition, playing their second legs tonight, the likes of Real Madrid and Ajax from Holland and Torino from Italy. So it's going to be a strong field in next Tuesday's draw in Geneva for the last 8. Right. That header was by Posh. And here's Nicol to Saunders. Molby. Gary Ablett. Hartness. All being shifted about crisply and accurately, but it's penetration Liverpool are really looking for, and it breaks down with Mike Marsh giving it to Linsmeyer here. Hartman down on the left-hand side. Vesterthaler coming dangerously inside. It came off Tanner, and it was cleared by Nicol for a corner.
better cross there, and Liverpool could have been stretched. Vestatala was in a good position, but fortunately the cross was behind him. It was cut out.
Gorosito to take the corner. It's Russ in there with McManaman. And brings the ball away. Long ball by Marsh. Was hurt Nagel. 20 minutes gone, no score. Ablett for Liverpool. Saunders. Molby. Oh. Usually a slide rule passer, Molby. That was a rare error by him. So the aggregate remains at 2-0, courtesy of the goals Saunders scored in Austria a fortnight ago. Hackelt, Linsmeyer. He was too elaborate. Marsh. A little bit of a warning that though to Liverpool. There was a space around on the edge of their area. McManaman, Marsh, Streiter. Linsmeyer again, the captain. Vestatala. This is Nicol. Saunders has started a run, but ball rebounded off Gorosito, actually. But he is lively, Saunders. He's moving well off the ball, and he holds on here. Passing on both sides a little too hurried and maybe a little inaccurate at the moment.
I think there was a good example just now when Mike Marsh got the ball out wide, what we were saying earlier, that it's not his natural position to play out wide there, and he's not got the individual flair to take people on, and at the moment in the Liverpool side you've only got Steve McManaman able to do that. That's why they desperately need somebody like John Barnes back, and I still think it highlights myself as well that one of the players that I still think they've missed all season really is Peter Beardsley, who was such a good link man between midfield and could take defenders on, and they've never quite been able to replace him.
No, you're talking about one of Jimmy Hill's favourite players there, Trevor, and certainly there were mixed feelings among the supporters when he went, but we won't see or won't be able to evaluate the Graham Souness rebuilding plan until he gets together the players who should be available to him. Here's Nicol. McManaman. This is Ablett. No. It's just 1 degree off at the moment, Liverpool's passing.
It's as if they're being asked to play two-touch, and you know, no one just quite wants to hold on to it for that little bit longer, and perhaps then take somebody on. At the moment, it's, as I say, as if they're not allowed any more than two-touch, and they're quickly passing it on to somebody else, and eventually they're giving it away.
I think while you were talking there, Graham Souness called out to Steve McManaman to change positions. It rather looks to me as though he's gone onto the left wing, and Steve Harkness has moved more into the centre. Whether that's permanent, we'll have to wait and see. I think he was saying Macca swap over, Souness. Here's Gorosito. And he just, I think he tried that in the first leg, didn't he? spotted Grobbelaar a few yards out and thought he would try the spectacular.
I hope Bruce Grobbelaar
he did then, Gorosita, that's for sure. Yes, Hartness is now playing up front with Saunders. And McManaman is on the left wing, so they've gone for some width in a tactical switch, Liverpool.
Yeah, I think the idea of it is, McManaman, as we say, is the one person who can take people on. And at the moment, if you sacrifice him down the middle where they've got three central defenders, he's not getting much space. So we might as well put him out wide where he gets one against a marker and see if he can get past him.
Well, he didn't get past Rush there, but here's Ablett. There's 20 minutes left in the first half here at Anfield. If you've joined us late, there's no score in this second leg between Liverpool and Tyrol Innsbruck. But here's a ball by Packelt, which splits the Liverpool defence, but it's offside, and they remain 2-0 up, Liverpool, on aggregate. And Streiter covering at the back, one of the Austrian internationals. Gorosito looks for Packelt, but I've got a feeling Packelt's lost a bit of pace this last couple of years. He used to be a very lively striker, the number 6 in the national team. Tanner. Harkness catching Russ.
Another feature of all the memorable Liverpool years that they used to have was the central defenders, such as Alan Hansen, who we got in the studio, used to carry it out, because most European sides, when they play at Anfield, sort of when they lose possession, they then get back goal side, and it's up to those two central defenders, and tonight it'll be in fact Tanner and Wright, to actually bring the ball out and commit their midfield players.
That's a great run by Michael Streiter, the number 8. Super run from the back, and he nearly got there, trying to square it in the end to Westerthaler. It was cut out, and it's now a corner. Just what you were saying about central defenders coming out with the ball, but it was the Austrian who did it. Gorosito to Packelt. Back again to Gorosito. And a bit of practice for Bruce. Now McManaman has got to get a grip on Russ if he can, who at the moment has got the grip on him. It's going to be his job now, the number 5 there, to mark McManaman in his new role. Number 4, Posch to Hartmann. Westerthaler making a run down the left wing. Well, while it remains 0-0 here, the Austrians live in hope. One goal would put them back in the tie, technically. Here's Vazinger. And McManaman turns. Now, can he get away? Very happy about that challenge, Mr. Spasov.
Yeah, although Gary Ablett said I got the ball, it was a jump tackle, and that's what he was indicating. That's why he gave the free kick.
One of their away matches last season in the European Cup, Tyrol lost 9-1 to Real Madrid in the Bernabeu Stadium. I don't think that's going to happen here. They'll be looking for respectability at least. Ablett. Packelt. That's a decent pass across to Hartmann. And to his left is Westerthaler, Gorosito, Linsmeyer. Number 4 from the back here, Push. I think you're right about these Austrians. They like the fanciful footwork and a little bit of trickery, but they seem to get a little bit of a nosebleed when they get into the last third of the field, Trevor.
Yeah, a severe nosebleed, I think, as well. It's just as if they're playing a bit of keep ball, an exhibition thing, and they haven't got a goal to go at. They keep it possession well. Once they get to that last third, that attacking third, they would seem to run out of ideas.
Not that Liverpool have so far opened up the Tyrol defence with any great style or regularity. That's the situation after half an hour here at Anfield. 0-0 on the night, 2-0 on aggregate in this UEFA Cup third-round tie to the English team. Posh forward for the Austrians. I suppose it would more or less be a straight swap if Michael Thomas was signed by Graham Souness and Steve McMahon allowed to leave, Trevor, wouldn't it?
Well, Michael Thomas makes a lot of those deep runs that Steve McMahon has often done for Liverpool, joining the attackers, and it would be a sort of automatically straight swap, and I would have thought Jan Mulby likes to sit and sort of spray the ball around, and would be a good one to find the runs that Michael Thomas would make, but we'll have to see in what develops from there.
Yes, there was a time when a player would give his right arm to join Liverpool and not hesitate for a moment. Here's Ablett. Gorosito. Now Saunders, he's got Hartness to his left, not much else up with him at the moment. Streiter looking accomplished again as he came out with the ball. This is Nicol. And Saunders is onside, but couldn't reach it. All rather untidy at the moment, isn't it?
And Liverpool, in a bit of their frustration, have hung a few high balls up there, and when you've got Dean Saunders, Steve Hartness and perhaps Steve McManaman joining them, they're not going to get much joy from those, because they're all, what, less than 5'8" or 9.
And McManaman's now gone really deep to collect the ball. But the inroads are being made square rather than forward. Vazinga. Vesterthaler. Vazinga's made a run in the inside right channel, and there's danger here. Pakult's in the middle. Still Pakult. Gorosito and Vazinga.
Well, the warning signs were there, and that's Vorzinger who set up the chance, and they're getting the confidence now to throw forward their back players. We had Streiter a few minutes before that, and that Vorzinger is sort of one of the defenders as well, and that's what you don't want Tyrol to get, that confidence to throw extra men forward.
Yes, you have the feeling that it's going to be a midfield player or a defender perhaps who ultimately will get through here, because the marking of the respective strikers is so tight and orthodox that they don't look like shaking it off. Not just at present anyway. The pattern of the game is fairly predictable, but Liverpool could perhaps change that with a free kick. And that's a good advance by the keeper. Bounces off Hartness.
I think the pantomime season started early.
Here comes Vesterthaler, but there was a flag up for offside. 10 minutes to go in the first half here. 0-0 in this second leg. And so far, no sign of Liverpool's two-goal lead from the first match being either extended or dented. It's been a game of few openings so far. Here's Nicol to Saunders. He's forced the corner. Mark Wright making it clear to Dean Saunders and to Marsh that he wants this one planted firmly in the middle of the penalty area. Tanner's there as well, but promptly they give it a short one again. McManaman, I think the captain will have to have a word with them. McManaman again, though it might still work. It's Nicol, and now it's Mulby. Deflection, was there on that? Well, it's gone wide anyway. Those two short corners have caused one or two of the other Liverpool players to look very hard at Mike Marsh.
In the end, they worked the opening, and Jan Mulby pulled his shot. As you can see, he scuffed it, and it bobbled across the face of the goal. I mean, in the past, Liverpool have very rarely put a long corner in. They've always played it short. But I suppose now, especially with Mark Wright, who can win the ball in there, they might be more tempted to play the ball in a little bit more than they have in the past. But on the two occasions they've played it short, it hasn't gone quite according to plan so far.
Well, it makes a change from the near post corner, doesn't it, Trevor? Because there was a time when nobody put them anywhere else. Here's Posh. Ablett. Well, they're looking for angles here, but McManaman's touch was sure to Mulby, and Saunders would have gone away with the ball there, but Gorosito, number 10, pulled him back. Ablett picking out Steve Nicol. Well, Streiter read that all the way. He's getting used to Saunders' little darting runs now. Denying him space. Good player, Streiter. Not very tall for a defender, but nimble and quick to close down the openings that Liverpool have threatened to make. Will get away with that.
It's a difficult job to start criticising somebody like Steve Harkness, who's thrown up in a forward row alongside Dean Saunders, not his natural position, and is suddenly asked to sort of expose an experienced marker who's picking him up at the moment.
Yes, if you can't get down the flanks and the middle's bottled up, you've got a bit of a problem, really, haven't you? Unless you've got a midfield player who makes runs ahead of the ball. At the moment, Mulby is back there, helping out in defence. A little nervously, perhaps. This is Hartman. Gorosito, and Vestatala came on the blind side of the defence, and maybe it is the pantomime season. It's a good throw, as Jimmy Hill made the point about Grobbelaar's distribution. That was an excellent throw to Burrows, just as the crowd was still chuckling at his antics. Here's Mulby, and this is Saunders. A good move by Liverpool. A brilliant goal, started by their own goalkeeper, Bruce Grobbelaar. Saunders, the scorer, his 7th in 2.5 European games, but that was the best move of the match, and well, it was well back that it started, but McManaman slides the ball through beautifully here to Mulby. That was a lovely penetrating pass, and so was that. Put Saunders in the position that he loves, just to the angle of the goal, and that's the shot drilled past the keeper low down that we saw in Innsbruck a fortnight ago, and it registers another goal tonight here for Dean Saunders and Liverpool. It puts them 1 up in the second leg, 3-0 up on aggregate, and Bruce Grobbelaar can claim an assist. And so can Jan Molby.
I expect Bruce Grobbelaar said that was a little dummy he did when he failed to pick it up, and that distracted the Austrian defence, because he just took his eye off it first of all, and everyone was having a chuckle. He soon recovered, threw it out quickly. McManaman threaded a lovely ball to Molby, and again Saunders held his run very well because they tried to play the offside. It was a marginal decision, and he tucked away the chance very well.
Well, have the Innsbruck team got an immediate riposte? We'll see. They've got a corner. Four minutes left in the half. Vazinga and Posch are both forward for this. That's Gorosito. Header out by Wright. This is Rus. And the noise tells you that Liverpool have made the breakthrough. Another good throw by the keeper. It was Burrows who he threw it to the first time, who also had a hand in that excellent move. And it should give the Liverpool team some confidence. It now means, by the way, that even if, in the unlikely event of Tyrol coming back and scoring 3 and being 3-1 up tonight, Liverpool would then still be in pole position. This is Harkness. In fact, they need to get 4, wouldn't they, to... Here's Saunders. Vazinga. What there can't be now, of course, is extra time tonight, because the possibility of a 2-0 for the Austrians is gone. If they were to win 3-1, it would be 3-3 on aggregate, and then Innsbruck would go through because they would have 3 away goals to Liverpool's 2. That's a bit of a mouthful, I'm afraid, but I don't think it's going to happen anyway. This is Tanner to Ablett. Marsh, Wright, Molby, Burrows. Molby again. Saunders back into Molby.
It was a great build-up, typical Liverpool. Saunders just laying it square, then Jan Molby just running away, and he had to just stretch it, just caught the outside of his left foot. But he is instrumental in every good move, a good attacking passing move that comes through that Liverpool side.
Striker. Well, if Saunders is short of goals in the league, which was a point Alan Hansen was correctly making, he's certainly finding the way through in Europe, because it's his goal by which Liverpool lead in the second leg at half-time by 1-0. It was his 2 goals that put them in command in Innsbruck, so all 3 to Dean Saunders in this tie, and the Austrians leave the field knowing now that they've got to score 3 in the second half to have a chance of going through. Half-time, 1-0 to Liverpool.
Well, John said it was 3 degrees down on the pitch. I don't know whose thermometer they're using. It's, what do you think it is here, about -10 or something like that? And we mustn't complain, we're getting paid. Your view on that first half then, Alan?
Well, I thought Liverpool played some neat stuff in the middle of the park, but that first half performance highlights for me more than ever the need to get Barnes back and quickly. I didn't think they had any penetration at all. When they got the goal, I still think Tyrol are a very poor side, and as I said, I think they need Barnes back quickly.
Your view, Jim?
Well, rather similar. They haven't got anybody really to break up the rhythm. Nobody to do something special, you know, to start something going in the last third of the field. Orthodox, two-touch passing, looking for a through ball for somebody to run onto, which brought the goal in the end. But in general, nothing to create excitement, and they're going to suffer like that. But if they can hold on until the next round in March, they might have a team that looks like Liverpool again.
Well, the goal warmed us up, but let's look at the chance that the team was involved in early on in the half. He might have shot here. Alan?
Yeah, it might have been offside. It's touch and go, but it's an acute angle, isn't it? And it's one of them. If he hits it and scores, he's done the right thing. If he cuts it back, but if it had been a winger in that position and he had cut it back, you would expect Saunders to be in there. Whereas it's Mick Marsh coming from right back that's in there. Where were the rest of the players? I mean, young McManaman, he's back in the middle of the park.
First time I saw it, I thought he should have shot, but in the end, I think he did the right thing.
I think he did the right
on
thing.
the end of it.
All right.
Yeah.
Now let's look at his goal. And it's warmed us up a bit. And
well, this is Bruce Goblar at his very worst. He's anxious to get it back into play, and that was why he was grabbing at it. And now at his very best. We mentioned beforehand, boom, the throw, perfectly timed, and the whole move comes from there. A first-time ball from the throw. A little bit of collecting here.
Here's Mulby.
There's Mulby in position, having moved up from his own penalty area. The final through ball, wonderful ball, and Saunders is beginning to love these again. Tucked right in the corner.
Two things about that. First one is a dangerous thrower, but I mean he gets away with it. The second one, Mulby's played 1 or 2 balls inside the inside right position tonight, and this time it's paid off. And Saunders finishes it well.
Yeah.
Right in the corner. I don't think it's the goalkeeper's anything to write home about there. I mean, he hasn't even dived for it. But I mean, it's a good finish. He's put it right in the corner.
It's a very dangerous throw that. It might have woken everybody up at home because it resulted in a goal.
Yeah, that's right. Woke the Liverpool
Someone might have
bench
fallen
up,
off a chair.
I'll tell you that. Anyway, that goal means that they might have a platform for some more in the second half. We hope so. Well, Liverpool will be playing in the Premier League next season, unless they were to get relegated or something disastrous like that. And the names of the 2 men who are likely to run that Premier League were announced this week. Sir John Quinton, who spends most of his time running Barclays Bank, and Mr. Rick Parry. Ray Stubbs now reports.
Not a long throw from the Tower of London. Football's latest double act got down to business this morning. And given that the Premier League is expected to raise over £100 million, it was apt they should meet at the headquarters of Barclays Bank, formerly the Royal Mint. The Premier League's first chairman is Sir John Quinton. Its chief executive designate, Rick Parry. Barclays chairman Sir John, a Spurs fan, has been a season ticket holder at the bank for approaching 40 years. He's held in high regard throughout the city. Alongside him, Rick Parry aimed for a career as a First Division goalkeeper, but settled for accountancy. Both men now have leading roles in the formation of the Premier League. Sir John, can I ask you how much you'll be shaping future policy for the Premier League?
I think I've certainly got a role to play in that, but it mustn't be thought that I'm a dictator in charge of the Premier League. There are the 22 members, the club chairman, and I will obviously have to devise policy in relation to the general feeling amongst those members. Now that may involve me in a certain amount of negotiation and lobbying with them and making sure that we've got agreement amongst them. That's the sort of job that I am used to doing as a chairman. But I'm not laying down the law, I'll put it that way at this stage.
You're known as a man that will grasp the nettle. Will you be able to say to certain chairmen or on certain issues, no, we should go a different way?
I think that will certainly have to happen in certain instances. I'll have to see how it develops over the months to come. But my normal method is by persuasion and convincing people by sensible arguments rather than banging the table and forcing the issue.
Rick, what do you say at the criticisms that have been levelled about the Premier League over the past few weeks, that not enough has been done and that people have been ignored and their views not taken into consideration?
Well, again, I think I've set the context by saying that we've only had the green light a few weeks ago to get on and start making things happen. We have tried to meet with Gordon Taylor on a number of occasions. I have met with Gordon on a couple of occasions. On Monday of this week I wrote again to say we are ready, willing and able to get round the table whenever he is available, and really look forward to taking a very positive attitude to solving any problems that may lie between us and welcoming a positive input from him. I mean, we're not trying to be defensive, we're not trying to be difficult, we are looking forward to meeting.
Rick, what moves will be taken to reduce the size of the First Division? Because in the press in the last few days, it's been said that England is the laughing stock because of the number of games our top players have to play.
Yes, clearly concern is coming from the players, from the managers, from Graham Taylor. The clubs have now taken the decision finally that there will be a reduction to 20 clubs. That is now concrete and carved in tablets of stone. The precise timing of the reduction is yet to be agreed because it really depends on how quickly we can get commercial contracts in place to compensate for lost gate revenue. But we do know that the Premier League will now go down to 20 clubs. The position then of the clubs is that any further reduction is something which they will debate and vote upon, and I think quite validly they're making the point that they don't want to feel that the Football Association is going to try and impose any further reduction, but that any further reduction will be based on reasoned logic and arguments and will be voted through democratically, but that will be some way off.
You mentioned there about the Football Association imposing something on the Premier League. Is there a danger that we might reach impasse again with your relationship with the Football Association?
We're bringing about major change. I mean, I think the biggest change that the professional game has seen ever. You have to tread very carefully, and I think you always have to be very clear on what your ultimate goals are. I don't see it so much as dangers. I'm not suggesting it'll always be easy or straightforward, but I think it's terribly important that we do keep striving, moving forwards and bearing in mind what our goals are and not letting differences get between us. But I think it is just so important to recognise that there has to be a balance, there has to be consensus of opinion. It's a partnership, it's really not about where the government lies, it's about all pulling in the same direction.
So John, and with your chairmanship, would I be right in saying that one of your aims is to bring everybody together?
That's right, to achieve, and I'm sure that with goodwill on all sides, those sort of things can be done, and these differences, such as they are, could be overcome. As Rick says, there obviously are problems, there are differences of opinion, but the role of an independent chairman is very much to try to resolve those without acrimony and achieve a consensus at the end of the day to which everybody can subscribe.
There is a great danger that some people feel that the rich will get richer and the poorer clubs will get poorer and the future generations of the game will be damaged. Do you have a view on that?
That's one of the balances that we'll have to watch very carefully, I would think. I certainly feel that there is a danger of that, and we must try to avoid that, because I doubt if that would be in the interest of English soccer at the end of the day.
The supremos of the Premier League. They're talking about major change there, Jim. I know there's major change as far as the clubs are concerned in the new Premier League. What about the fans? I can't understand what it means for the fans.
Well, those that I've spoken to wonder what all the fuss is about. They can't see how the change is going to affect them any differently from the way in which things have been run for 100 years or more. And it seems now as if all the fuss is about nothing. It looks as if sooner or later they're going to get down to 20. I think they'll make a compromise on that. 20 teams in the top, which does give just enough room in the season to get your international fixtures in. I think that'll happen, but you can shuffle the leagues about as much as you like. You can call them what you like. You can have them run by the FA or the league. But if you don't give the customer what he wants, and I think he wants
the product's not good enough,
judging by tonight, a bit more goalmouth action. If you don't do that, it doesn't matter what you do in this kind of organisation. As far as the man on the terrace is concerned, or what will be the man in the seats, it's boring. It's boring. He wants to see football. That's all he's interested in.
Okay, Jim. We'll move on just for the moment, sorry Alan, but of course on Sunday night we've got a very special night. It's Sports Review of the Year, our special programme of the year. It's the night when you choose the Sports Personality of the Year.
That's the best I've ever seen, and it's better than that, it's better than any I've ever read about. What a fantastic piece of distance running.
This is it now, my boy. Yes, what a man.
That's Mansell, Nigel Mansell.
Wheel-to-wheel stuff, look at this, they're almost touching.
Dave Boy-Macaulay knocks his man out, and he makes British boxing history.
Very fine performance from Graham Gooch and his men.
Akabusi has made it! Akabusi, goal for Britain. America's second.
That is the Grand Slam moment for
England. Still time to get your votes in, but you'll have to be quick. But do make sure to join us on Sunday night for Sports Review of the Year. Now, John Barnes, let's have a word from John.
John, how far before you'll be back in the Liverpool shed?
Well, hopefully it won't be longer than 10 days. I hope to be playing in the A-team on Saturday, so, you know, maybe I'll probably get a first-team run out maybe in a week or so.
How's the training been going? You've been able to do all the running and all the practice you need?
Yeah, but until you actually play matches, you're never going to be match fit. So although I've been in the gym a while now and started to run and jog and sprint and do all the running, I think that really I just need games.
Liverpool need you back and England need you back for next year.
Well, I mean, we're doing quite well tonight. I mean, it's very cold and the lads are 1-0 up. I'm a bit surprised with the Austrians because they've just stayed back rather than coming out. So, you know, we've done quite well. So as long as we can keep on winning, I don't think they'll leave me back that much.
John, thanks for talking to us.
John with Ray Stubbs. Let's go right back for the second half. As you see, it's about to start. Trevor and John.
Thanks, Des. Ray Stubbs there with John Barnes. I think Ray got a mini exclusive there. Hearing Rick Parry finally tell us that the Premier League will come down to 20. That's a start, Trevor, isn't it? Although, I don't know about you, I'm in the camp that thinks it should be 18, but never mind. The Austrians, incidentally, will not play league football again until March the 7th. They have a 3-month winter break and play their season in 2 parts, obviously because of the weather. It's a thought. I don't think it would work here because I do honestly think, despite the conditions tonight, that people in this country do enjoy their football, especially over the Christmas holiday period. So I'm not advocating that. Let's see what they can do in the second half. 1-0 down on the night, 3-0 down on aggregate. They would have to score 3 goals, and then if they did and Liverpool didn't score a second, then Tyrol would go through on the away goals rule. That's how the match stands statistically, but Liverpool will hope that's all irrelevant. Here's Linzmeier, number 7, the captain. And this is Gorosito, and it's Linzmeier again, trying to get Packle through the middle. Marsh. Looking for Saunders. Certainly giving Saunders every encouragement. I think they sympathised a bit with him when he went through a rough patch recently. Good news about Barnes, though, in that interview. Molby, a beautiful ball, and Streiter, a very good interception to prevent McManaman latching onto it. Here's Hurtnagel, Linzmeier. Now offside, a bit late the flag, but it's up now. Well, what would you rather talk about, the Premier League or John Barnes?
Well, always interested to see John Barnes' interview, because I'd like to see what his wardrobe he's got on, because he gets some colourful jackets, doesn't he? But I'm delighted to see that he's so close to coming back, because there's no question that his individual flair is not only missed in the Liverpool side, but I think in the opposition supporters, although they like to criticise him, the individual bits of skill that he shows always entertains them as well.
This is Nicol for Liverpool. Saunders coming in here. Good effort.
Crowd chanting there. Steve Nicol looking up, whips in the cross, and Dean Saunders just getting the first touch, and it's one of those you hit on the turn, they either fly into the net or high into the cop. On that occasion, into the cop. But as you say, it's good to see him. He's looking keen and eager, and got that little bit of sharpness that's giving him that yard in front of his marker.
Do you think John Barnes would have been allowed to wear that jacket in Bill Shankly's time, bearing in mind it was blue?
Well, I think if John Barnes does the business on the Saturday, most managers will let him wear anything. I mean, as long as he performs. When he wore his tights, they said, how can you wear tights? But once he jinks past a couple of defenders, you forget all about that.
Absolutely. It'd be good to see him back, and England might be pretty pleased too, I should imagine. Here's Hurt-Nagel. Saunders, he's got some space to run in here. He really has. David Burrows is offside though. I suppose Burrows might have been one of those who would have been in the England B team next week, Trevor, had Liverpool not had a rearranged league game at Tottenham next Wednesday, which is why their players couldn't be released.
Well, there's several players going to get the opportunity, but Alan Shearer with Southampton tied up, there's going to be a few that miss out, and anyone that does play in the B games, they're going to be very significant, because there are going to be opportunities to force your way into an England squad that is still looking, I think, for one or two places to be filled.
Tanner with the tackle, Packalt, and now Burrows, and now Nicol. Hurt-Nagel for Innsbruck, Gorosito. They do have only one real means of attack, this Austrian team, and that's to try and chip the ball beyond the back four for Packalt and Westerthaler to latch onto. It didn't work in Austria, and it hasn't really worked here either. I tend to agree with Alan Hansen's assessment of this team. They're pretty ordinary. Which is probably a good thing for Liverpool with their depleted ranks at the moment. Here's Hurt-Nagel. A little bit of a pull of the shirt by Burrows, and the wide player is onside. It's Russ. Packalt coming into the middle with Wright. Nicol's header not altogether convincing, and a corner. After 5 minutes of the second half here at Anfield. Anybody who's just come in, Liverpool lead by a Dean Saunders goal, scored in the first half. Bruce Grobbelaar actually started the move. Corner to Tyrol. Header by Mark Wright. Got good distance. Hurt-Nagel. McManaman. Oh. That would have put Liverpool away. Instead, we've got some more defending to do. Another good header by the captain, Wright. Now it's Mulvey. Try the other way. Just a bit too close, the return from Saunders, and now Linsmeyer to Gorosito. And on this side, the runner was Hartmann, but good interception, and Saunders moves to the right. Liverpool still playing with Harkness as the other striker, which is not where he expected to play at all. There he goes. Play on, Saunders. Westerthaler up against Tanner. hurt Nagel. It's good running by him. Little deflection has given Innsbruck the corner. And the hurt Nagel will volley this. And it was Harkness who cleared it. Russ. See the caring in the community sign over that far side in the stand. It's the province now of Brian Hall, the Liverpool community officer, who used to be a very good midfield player here. And he's been giving away more seats tonight to underprivileged people. Common feature now of home games here. Liverpool offside Harkness. By no means the only club who do that sort of thing, of course. The community officer becoming a more and more significant figure at many league clubs. Harkness. McManaman takes over. 2 to his left. Harkness again. Well, Gary Ablett saw the goalpost there and thought he'd have a go himself.
Not a very popular man amongst his teammates, because they worked the ball well, were patient, played it out to Gary Ablett. There's 2 or 3 options, and all you can, I think, say that perhaps his standing foot let him down, he slipped or something, because if he was shooting from there, then I think he will take a bit of verbal from his teammates after.
He might tell him he saw the goalkeeper just straying away from his post, Trevor. You know what these things are like. But it's still 1-0 and 3 overall. So Liverpool would appear here to be moving comfortably towards the quarter-finals of the UEFA Cup. The draw for which, as I said, is next Tuesday, and the match is to be played in far-off March. But it does keep your season going if you can get through this stage of the European calendar. Right to Nicol. Molby. In fact, as David Burrows tried to go through for that would-be pass, he fell over. And that's a good interception, first by Tanner, then by Wright, who both had work to do there. Burrows still feeling the effects of falling on a very hard pitch. I think the temperature has dropped since we mentioned 3 degrees at the start of the game. It's pretty cold up where we are, I can tell you. Ten minutes gone in the second half. Harkness. Oh, and spooned a bit by Arashu from Harkness. So that was something of a fumble by the Austrian goalkeeper. Corner. Nicol. Molby, and Burrows in a good position in the centre. Molby finds even more space on the left. This is McManaman. Dazzling run by McManaman, absolutely superb. And that's a good save to deny him. Araju from McManaman.
McManaman jinxing what past 4. He did very well to stay on his feet, because there would have been a few forwards that would have gone down looking for the penalty, because he was clipped once. Dean Saunders perhaps suggesting to him, didn't you fancy going down looking for the penalty? But he did very, very well. Great close control, and that, as we've said earlier, at the moment he is the one player in the side who can go past defenders like that. Keeps his balance well. Again, it's a good shot. It was destined for the corner, and the goalkeeper on that occasion made a good save.
You haven't missed anything while you've been watching those replays, because that gentleman, Mr. Posh, has been receiving extended treatment from the man in the headband. And from the physiotherapist on the right. Hurt his elbow as he fell, I think. So it's going to be a corner to Liverpool. Wright and Tanner are both forward. And here's Saunders! He can't stop scoring in Europe. The Derby pair combining there. Not quite perhaps what Mark Wright had intended, but he'll take the assist. And Dean Saunders will certainly accept the congratulations. It's 2-0 to Liverpool on the night. After 58 minutes, Wright turning it through, Saunders jerking it up with one foot, and then don't think the goalkeeper will be too thrilled with his performance there, but who cares if you're a Liverpool supporter. It's Saunders 4, Innsbruck 0 in the tie. There might even have been a player offside as well, but we won't argue about that. This is Gorosito. What did you think, Trevor?
Well, Steve McManaman was standing in an offside position, but the referee had a perfect view, didn't think he was interfering with play, and Saunders controlled it, hit his shot, and a ricochet off the goalkeeper, and again, he's got 2 goals, as he did away from home. Enjoying these European games, I think.
Just to register a yellow card there, Trevor. I think that was Steve Hartness booked for that tackle. If it is, then he's on a yellow card with Marsh and McManaman in European competition. So they can't afford to offend again. There goes Gorosito. Burrows. McManaman couldn't reach that. So Saunders now 4 against Kuusisilahti here, 2 in Austria, 2 tonight. That's, my maths is up to this one anyway, 8 in 3 games. Here's Gorosito, and he's overtaken Roger Hunt's record. Liverpool fans will be, I'm sure, prepared to acknowledge. Here he is again. In by Marsh. Oh, it came to McManaman, who sliced it. Seven in a European campaign was Roger Hunt's achievement. Saunders has made it 8 tonight. He's only played 3 games. So that's a pretty fair output in European football. I don't think Milan Oraju in goal there can feel very comfortable about the way he tried to save that. Here's Packelt. It's certainly now taking the brakes off for Liverpool, because they are 4-0 up in the tie, and that is home and dry time, really. And they can perhaps just relax a little and play some imaginative football. We've got half an hour to go. This is McManaman, and now it's Ablett. Vasinger. McManaman again. And Streiter. Or are they going to get one back? This is Hartmann, and Westerthaler in a very good position in the middle, and the first touch by Hartmann really let him down there. It would have been a good passing position if he could have controlled the ball. Here's Gorosito. Into Linsmeyer. And Westerthaler, nice little move was building up there a moment ago for the Austrians, but they didn't get the final ball in, and so Liverpool are back in possession with Ablett. And Saunders' turn was read there by Vasinger, but he'll be looking for the hat-trick now. Linsmeyer. And Packelt playing rather deep there, number 6. Tanner, oh, it's a foul by David Burrows. Packelt. This is Mulvey. There was an appetite and a freshness about Saunders' play from the start tonight, and indeed in the first match, and he's certainly come good again, hasn't he?
Yeah, he took the both chances well, steadied himself. Mike Marsh actually did well for the second goal in the second half because, of course, he took the corner very quick, while Posh, who'd been injured for quite a while, was still working his way back into the 18-yard box, and that might have been why Saunders was allowed a bit of space to take the second chance.
Well, Harkness is off, and Jamie Redknapp, 18 years old, scored at Southampton on Saturday in his league debut, is on the pitch. He's played in Europe before, and we'll just see how they readjust there. He'll go into midfield, I would imagine, Redknapp. So whether that means McManaman now goes central again with Saunders, we'll see. It's the first substitution of the evening. And here's Westerthaler. And Gorosito's pass finds Hartman offside.
Yeah, Steve McManaman has gone back up front with Dean Saunders, and Jamie Redknapp's gone alongside Jan Mulvey in the centre. There's McManaman down the middle again. And David Burrows is taken up a wide left position in midfield, so he's trying to show his versatility all over. I think he could play anywhere at the back or midfield.
There is Burrows, in fact, and he's pulled up with a foul. Just to help any really latecomers to the match, Liverpool leading here 2-0 in the second leg, having won the first 2-0, and all 4 goals in the tie scored by Saunders. 1 in each half tonight. Here's Mulvey. And this is Liverpool's passport stamped for the last 8 of the UEFA Cup. Ablett, Burrows, Saunders, good play this. McManaman, Mulvey following up, claims he was obstructed, play on. We've been playing 20 minutes in the second half here at Anfield. Liverpool have played 3 clubs in Europe so far whose behaviour on the pitch has been pretty good, I would say. I haven't had much trouble from any of them in terms of the physical challenge. Here's Hortnagel. Westerthaler missed his kick. There's Packelt. The more grisly competitors may be lying in wait in the quarter-finals, though, I rather think. McManaman, Mulvey, 2 of them looked offside to me, yes. And we're going to see 2 substitutions by Ernst Happel. And coming on, number 14, Roland Kirchler, who played as a sub in the first match. He's going to replace Peter Packelt, but in fact he's had second thoughts about the other one for the moment and taken the boards away. So it's just going to be the one change for now. I hoped we were going to see Champhy, the Ghanaian, who's been on the bench for both ties and has something of a reputation as a crowd pleaser, but he hasn't got a look in here. That's the Argentine Gorosito with the forward pass. Westerthaler, number 9. just left Tyrol on his own up front at the moment after taking Packelt off. They've only really gone for respectability and a rational scoreline, I think, here, the Austrians. They never seriously suggested they could win this game, either before it or during it. And Tyrol's very much a lone figure up there. And I wouldn't say that he's done a great deal for his avowed ambition to go to a leading country at the end of the season either. This is Marsh. Good ball. Saunders, is it the hat-trick? Oh, that's the way to take them. Gentle little flick over the goalkeeper completes Dean Saunders' second European hat-trick of the season. 68 minutes gone. Liverpool 3, Tyrol 0. And what do you say now about Saunders?
Well, he held the line again superbly. He's judging that just beating the offside perfectly. They've moved up, tried to play him offside, composed himself, and I think that shows now the fact he delayed it so long, the confidence he's getting. He's waiting for the goalkeeper to commit himself, just lifts it over, and I think the match ball will be going back to the Saunders household.
Well, before the match in Innsbruck, he was under all sorts of scrutiny. People were saying his time here was numbered, that he was being courted by Nottingham Forest and that he wouldn't last at Liverpool. I don't know what you say now, because he's come up with 5 goals in 2 games in this tie. And, 9 overall in Europe now in 3 matches. Quite sure how you can do better than that.
I think his finishing has never been in doubt. You don't lose the talent. I think the big question that would follow on would have to be, can Ian Rush and Dean Saunders play together in the same team and both be scoring regularly? And I think that's the key to perhaps what will happen in the remaining few months of this season, to see whether that is possible or whether one does have to make way for the other.
Well, you never know, it might be Rush who moves on. Things happen fast, especially when Liverpool are rebuilding. It's a comfortable performance now, isn't it? Good position to be in front of your own supporters. 3-0 on the night, 5-0 on aggregate, and nothing to fear from a very moderate Austrian team, who nevertheless have been sensibly and summarily dispatched by Liverpool, and by Saunders in particular. Here's Vasinger. Nagel. That was a delicate little dink shot with which to finish the 3rd goal, wasn't it? There'll be a few young footballers trying that one out on the goalkeeper in the next few weeks, I'm sure. And
get after him now!
He's not happy yet. 20 minutes to go here at Anfield, and that is the position in this UEFA Cup tie, coming to you live from Liverpool. As indeed the quarter-final will next March. I'm told that it's now half a degree above freezing, so I think we can vouch for the fact by our feet, Trevor, that it's certainly got a lot colder since the game started.
I must agree with Alan Hansen and Des, though. I want a steward's inquiry on whoever's holding that thermometer, because it's got to be below freezing.
I don't know what they're complaining about, they're inside. Anyway, there goes Kirchler. And here's an opportunity for Tyrol, and a deflection on the shot. It was Russ who made the strides from the back and forced the corner. And the Austrians now are just looking for what would surely be a consolation from their visit to Liverpool. Russ. Crowd are chanting for Barry Venison because he hasn't played in the first team for nearly 10 months, and he's on the bench tonight. I'm just wondering if Graham Souness will give him a little run here. I think he will. I think that's a substitution half made by the supporters. It's going to be tell you in a minute who's going to come off, but meantime it's Linsmeyer to Hartmann. And Mulby. Saunders, well, he's got so much space over there now. Jamie Redknapp coming up from midfield, and Burrows also in support. There's Redknapp. And Saunders goes again. It's quite a task for Vazinja there, the number 3. He had him to mark in the first game and hasn't managed to bottle him up at all. Crowd beginning to understand now why Liverpool paid that record 2.9 million for Dean Saunders. He's certainly been the difference between the two clubs in this tie, and here we go. Mike Marsh goes off, and Barry Venison, whose last first team game was at Luton in the match after Kenny Dalglish resigned. That's way back. Last winter, and I should think any player who comes back from Liverpool's long injury list deserves the welcome. Venison's moved on to the right-hand side of midfield, wearing number 12 in Marsh's position. This is Mulby. And now he might even get the ball. Russ to push. Now Gorosito. It's a swinging pass, but they are, I'm afraid, more often than not cut out when they travel that distance. Ablett to Mulby. Well, I suppose Saunders' target now must be to get one more and equal his 4 here against the Finns in the first round. Again, Burrows now enjoying himself in attack. McManaman's in the centre here. Oh, and the keeper just rather luckily flicked it away from him. And that came with 15 minutes to go, and a bit of good fortune there for Araja.
I thought it was an excellent cross right across the face of the goal. The keeper did well because he saw McManaman coming in and decided, I think, to push it away to safety and hope one of his defenders could eventually get it away. But it was a very difficult cross on these conditions for a keeper to deal with.
I'll tell you one thing these European games have done here at Liverpool. Well, I would in a minute when Mulby goes through. Still Mulby. They've brought some humour back, I don't say back to the Kop, but the crowd have been terrific in the last 2 games against Auxerre for obvious reasons, and even tonight in the cold. A few of the old songs have started to come back there, and they've given the team, I know, backing which Graham Souness appreciates greatly, and they'll be called upon to do so again when we get some excitement here after Christmas. Especially when you bear in mind the attendances haven't been near capacity for the last 2 games in Europe. Kirchler had given it a real sense of occasion. This is Ablett. song draws applause from other parts of the ground, and meantime it's Gorosito here for Tyrol. The ball coming off the heels of Kirchler. And Tanner and Wright have remained undisturbed in these two matches. Mulby, Venison's on the right. Here's Nicol. And now Venison. Ball spinning off Vazinga and pushed back by Rus. Well, you need the hats tonight, boys. In fact, you need the thermals as well, and the boots, really, but it's a bit late for that now, Trevor. It's a bit late for Innsbruck too, I can tell you. They're 3 down, 5 down on the aggregate score, and going nowhere fast. Venison. Nicol. McManaman. Oh, well played by David Burrows. He's got 3 in the middle. This is Saunders. Venison. Morby wants to take over. Venison shot! Oh, he's done it! Wow! That's a bit of a comeback, isn't it? I should think so too. 10 minutes from the end, and Barry Venison, who hasn't been on the pitch more than a few minutes, drives a shot. The keeper touched it. More or less went through his arms, perhaps, but...
Dean Saunders laying it square. I think Barry Venison playing to the cop there. He hit the shot well, but you've got to say the goalkeeper must have, if he sees that, he's not looked at all impressive throughout both legs, and I think that one just about sums up the sort of form he's been shown, because he should have saved that. As much as you like to see Barry Venison come back and score, it was poor goalkeeping.
Here's Hartman, he's offside. Venison had been on the pitch 5 minutes precisely when he made that contribution. And a very nice way to return after nearly a year out of the game. It's made it 4-0 past the hapless Araja on the night, and 6 now overall to Liverpool. And they've shown that somebody else apart from Saunders can score. Mobby was going to actually take the ball off his toe as he lined up the shot, but Venison stuck to it, and that's one for his library. I can assure them that Jimmy Hill is watching, and will be for the next 9 minutes or so until we all go in from the cold, because Liverpool are warming us up with some quite good play now. It's got to be taken in the context of the opposition, but you can only beat what's there, and they're doing that emphatically with Ablett on the ball at the moment. And now Burrows. Oh, there's an offside flag up here. But their passing's been good in the second half.
Yes, I mean, they've shown in patches that the passing is good as as old Liverpool sides. It's that individual flair that we felt have been missing, but you can't criticise them winning 4-0. That's all they could do on the night. What you can say is that they're probably very fortunate in the last 16 of European competition to find a side as weak as Tyrol. I mean, it was a great draw to end up a 6-0 aggregate. Is one of those you tend to think you get in the first round, but not at this stage. And I think Tyrol's performance over the 2 legs is a reflection on the poor performances of Austria at national level as well, and having seen this side, you can see why they've struggled at international level.
No, when you think what a famous country Austria was years ago in world football, they have gone through a barren patch, that's absolutely right. Being beaten by the Faroe Islands didn't really help, did it? In fact, the Austrians have been drawn in a World Cup group with France and Sweden, among others, for 1994. Didn't think there's a great chance of them qualifying the way things are at the moment. Here's Venison. Well, there are 7 minutes left here. Liverpool have 4 goals on the night and 6 in total in this tie. It's Nicol. Mulby to Ablett. Saunders. And it's Venison here with Redknapp just to his left, and Nichols made a forward run and he's offside. I don't know whether Ernst Happel has lost the knack of managing teams. He was regarded as one of the great shrewd tacticians of the world game. He hasn't done a great deal with this lot, but maybe that's because the players are not there to be utilised in the way that he wants. Liverpool have strolled through it. When you look back on it, that's been the case home and away. Russ, and that's come off Nicol, and the referee has given an offside anyway, flag up on the far side. Here's Redknapp. Well, there's 5 minutes to go. Have you got any overall observations you'd like to make about this tie in general, Trevor?
Well, I think Dean Saunders will remember both ties. It's good to see him looking sharp and finishing so well, so I think he's definitely a plus. And Jan Mulby, his return, no doubt, no question, has given them much more vision. I think he enjoys European games because, you know, he's not the quickest of players, Jan Mulby, but in Europe you get that little bit more time and space. I think sometimes in the frantic pace that you get in the first division, sometimes that space in midfield he doesn't find, and so he might not be quite as effective in some of the league games, but in Europe he sort of stands out like a beacon, really.
Yeah, they are different European games, aren't they? I mean, you can tell even when you're actually commentating on them that there's far more passing and a bit more thought and time goes into it maybe than the hectic scramble that often seems to decorate the first division. Here comes Ablett. Perhaps decorate's the wrong word there, but still. Burrows, 4 minutes to go. Ablett. Saunders. And here's Nicol. This isn't a bad build-up. Redknapp's in the middle this time. It might come to McManaman. It's Nicol again. There's also a mist gathering across Anfield now, just in case you feel they've lost a little bit of definition on the pictures. It's getting quite foggy on the far side. Here's McManaman, brought down just outside the area by Vesterthaler. There's 3 minutes left as Liverpool line up this free kick. Tanner waiting on the far side. So is Redknapp. Molby crosses it. Ablett came from the back. There's an offside up here. Flag on this side.
Something of a late decision. The only other player I think we should highlight perhaps is Mark Wright as well, because he came back into the team after missing most of the season, in the first leg, and played very well, and I think quietly has been very effective this evening. His captain now, of course, is going to play a big part in Graham Souness's emerging Liverpool side, and I'm sure he's delighted to have him back now for the rest of the season, hopefully without any further injuries.
Yes, he will be satisfied about that, will Souness. Probably be glad to see the back of 1991, I would have thought, and hope that the new year brings better fortune with regard to fitness. Progress in Europe certainly doing something to bury the memory of that defeat at Peterborough in the Rumbelows Cup, which shook Liverpool up so badly. Even now they can hardly believe they lost there, but all credit to Chris Turner's team for that shock result. That's what makes the game what it is. A minute to go, and Liverpool here with a comfortable lead. It's Saunders again. Molby. And it was Hartman who headed it out before Venison could get there. And here's Mark Wright now. Now this is Venison. Roland Kirchler, but the Austrians look as though they're going to go through this tie without registering a single goal. And they haven't, to be honest, threatened Bruce Grobbelaar very often in either game. This is Venison for Liverpool, who end the proceedings in completely dominant mood. And the undersoil heating has done its job. Liverpool have done theirs, and they're through to the quarter-finals of the UEFA Cup. Dean Saunders, 3 more goals, making it 9 in 3 games in Europe. A 4-0 win on the night for Liverpool, giving them an aggregate score against Tyrol of 6-0.
Well, the only one of the 3 wise men here who didn't get a chant for the Cop tonight was you, Alan.
I can't believe it. I only played here for 14 years, Des.
Anyway, in the end, a good performance.
Yeah, it's a massive boost for them to be in European competition come March. They're traditionally very strong anyway after Christmas. I think they've got a solid defensive base now that Mark Wright's back. Him and Tanner look to have forged a good partnership.
Tanner seems to have improved as the season's gone on.
He certainly has. He's done particularly well.
And Saunders tonight, well, hat-trick.
Wonderful finishing. I mean, confidence returning, which might make him, a dangerous player now in the league, because that's, it is that little bit tighter there. But more than anything else, Jan Molby, lovely to see his passing ability. There was one ball in the second half that came across him, chose not to take it with his right foot, and just flicked it off the outside of his left foot out to the line. Such a beautiful passer, really, to watch. Made the evening really
his
worthwhile.
talent comes through in this sort of game because he gets more time and space.
We can hear from Dean Saunders, actually, and Graham Souness, I believe. Here they are.
Gentlemen, congratulations. Good Liverpool win.
Yeah, it was a difficult game for us. Mentally it was, the approach to it, because we had the 2 goals from the previous game. And I have to be pleased with the way they approached it. More positive. We were guilty last week of approaching a game that we felt we wanted to turn up to win. That could have been a possibility again tonight, but we didn't. We were positive and played some good football. We got the goals. Delighted for Dean again, another hat-trick.
Dean, you're breaking records tonight. Roger Hunt's Liverpool record for goals in a campaign for Europe.
Yeah, it's nice to get that sort of record, but the main thing was that we never gave them a goal early on and let them back in the tie. And fortunately, 3-0, they were out of the game.
You're playing with so much confidence now and scoring.
Well, I get all my confidence from scoring goals. If I'm not scoring, I'm not as confident. So it's just nice to be scoring a few.
And the quarter-finals now next year. Who knows what Liverpool team you could put out then too?
Well, we've had to chop and change several times this year. The legislation and, of course, the injuries we have. And that's a long way off. There's a lot of football now to be played between now and the next round in this. We're delighted to be in it. I'd like us now to concentrate on our league position and put some results together and help us get up the table, because I feel that we've done very well, but we can do better, and when we have everybody available, I think we can hopefully look forward to better times.
Gentlemen, congratulations, thank you.
Thanks.
The Ray Stubbs there. That record of Roger Hunt's stood for 25 years. Let's look back at the goals. It was 1-0 at half-time, of course.
Yeah, Mulwee plays a good ball in here to Saunders as the first goal. And he hits it well, he puts it right in the corner. It's good build-up, good play.
Take the next one, Jim.
Yeah, not easy for goalkeepers on a night like this. Cold hands as well, as we have found, but this was a lovely bit of skill. Flicked it up in the air, much better goal than it really looked. It looked sort of a scramble from the position we were at, but it was very well taken indeed.
Controls it well, yeah.
Third one, he took his time last
Yeah, good ball from Mick Marsh. Saunders beats offside trap, and he delays it and waits for the goalkeeper to commit himself, and then just dinks it over the top of him. But it was well taken.
Yeah.
Two feints there, and this one, talking about cold hands, of course, that's what the Tyrol goalkeeper would like to say, but the cop gave Barry a great welcome, and he hit that as hard as he could, and it was certainly good enough to get past those cold hands, although I don't know what Ernst Happel is going to say to that man tonight who was in that goal.
Still some good teams around in this competition, though, of course. Real, Ajax. Well, we don't know their results tonight, but just those some good teams.
I think they'll find stiffer opposition come March. But, as Graham said, gets Barnes back. They look defensively solid now. Who knows what can happen.
It's interesting if you look at the league table. They've only lost 3, Liverpool.
I think 18 goals in 17 league games tells its own story.
But it is half Liverpool reserves, isn't it, by the standards that they have set themselves in the past. Young players who would not have got their chance, who are thrust into European competition and having to survive. But by the time March comes, could be that it's something like the old Liverpool.
Would you write them out in the league championship at this stage?
No, not at all. The last twice Liverpool have been well off the pace at Christmas. It was 81-82, they were 15 points behind Ipswich, and they won a canter. 88-89, they were 19 points behind Arsenal. They got beaten the last kick of the season.
Still open. Thanks, Alan.
I'm not going to say they're not going to win the championship. Think of what will happen next time we come.
Exactly. Well, I hope you've enjoyed it tonight. Remember, Sports Review of the Year on Sunday night, when your choice of Sports Personality of the Year will be picked. I don't think it'll be Dean Saunders, but he might have a few votes now. Did really well tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.